Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, now look at here. Sages, sages, sages. Took me a while to decide whether or not to even do this session on Dorit because I'm not a Dorit fan, but at the same time, I like to have an open mind and I like to be fair. Okay. So, in all fairness, when we found out that Dorit had a home invasion right after the reunion, and on that particular reunion, Andy gave attention to Rena by way of saying, I text you after that episode, and or either he said I called you and told you to get those gowns out of that garage because you might be burglarized and da 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 da. You know, um, and of course, I can say that all the women, all the housewives want attention to a certain extent. However, some want attention more than others. And I'd say, now I've already talked about Rena, and she already admits it that she loves attention. But I'd say Dorita's up there too. So when this happened right after that, yeah, thought it was sus, as the kids can say. It was sus. um, Suspect. Okay, let me go ahead and say what it means because when I first heard a youngin say that, I said, what? Okay. Anyway, I thought it was suspect. And hoped it wasn't true, but then at the same time I was torn because I'm like, I also hope you didn't fake it. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, something happened. So I was just glad that they were okay. And I was hoping that she did not, her or PK didn't go to the extreme of this. Okay, this would have been a new low. Because I thought it was mighty convenient if it was fake, all right, that he's out of town and they have a break-in and police don't arrive there in time and it was Teddy's husband's security company allegedly. Like all this just seemed like a setup by Todd to come to us with the bullshit. Okay? So I was just suspect. So this one, if you haven't put two and two together yet, this one is about Dorit Kimsley's home being invaded and asking, was it real or was it all for a storyline? Because in all honesty, I felt like there was a possibility that PK had set it up and didn't tell Dorit so that Dorit's hands could be clean and when she's asked she could give like genuine surprise you know um and of course I was thinking that of course he told the hired thugs allegedly, if it be, don't hurt them but just scare them and stuff. This will give my wife a good um storyline. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no telling what folks will do for their spouse. Shoot, I don't know. um so especially after reading this housewife book, oh Lord Jesus. Okay, and I'm not even done. Bless my heart. Okay. Anyway, then I have, as you can see, I have what role did Teddy's husband play in all of this? So just in case, for those of you who may not be aware, um, Teddi Mellencamp, a former housewife who should have won if it ever is invented or was to be an award for the most boring housewife ever, she'd get it. As a matter of fact, the little statue should be of her. So anyway, she was on and she was gone. All right, she was on, she lied, did a puppy gate, and she was gone. Now, her husband owns a security company, and we're gonna get into that later. But he allegedly, it was his security company that was securing the home. Now, y'all. All right. For those of you who may be new and may not have any idea who I am, allow me to introduce myself. I am Indigo Sage, an awakened soul. I do have a spiritually based website at unapologeticallysage.com. Okay, and Lord, I'm trying a new station, y'all. I don't know what this is. Anyway, you can find me on social media outlets at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Unapologetically Sage. Let's sage this out. I promise you guys, even if Dorit is not your cup of tea, this will be interesting to you. All right, this is something you want to listen to. Let's sage.
But first, before we continue, what I need you all to do is bring your beautiful eyes to the bottom of your screen, no matter what screen you're looking at, whether that is your iPhone, your Android, your Cricket, your whatever screen, whether it's an iPad, a laptop, a notebook, whether it's your flat screen or big booty screen TV, whatever screen you're looking at. Bring your beautiful eyes to the bottom of it and look at that red bar at the bottom. And what it says is, this is for entertainment purposes only, and every single word is what alleged and not to be used as facts. So anytime that you see this red bar at the bottom, the sentence inside applies.
And part of the reason why I said that you guys will want to listen to this anyway is because I had to dive into home security. Now, what I find to be interesting is Dorit Kemsley and her husband, PK, this is reported by people.com, pulled $8 million mansion off of the market because it was robbed after an open house. This was in and around January 2019. That is when this was reported. The suspect favored celebrity homes that were for sale and often posed as an interested buyer or broker. Here's the thing about that that's interesting. They're so they've been robbed before, okay? Because they were selling their home. To my understanding, they're still in the home that they were selling when they had the open house and it was robbed because celebrities with open houses are targets. Not just by this person, but and apparently it was just one man, okay? Um, but continuing on about that, so they pulled it off the market, allegedly around January 2019 because of the robbery. Then April 15th of 2021, um, they felt like they were ready for a fresh start and they placed the Encino home back on the market for 7.9, okay, after pulling it off the market. And this report from Reality Blurb says in December. Okay, so it's been off on off on off on, and honestly, I did a deep dive. I should have been done with this a few days ago, but I kept when I nerd out, you guys, I just go and go and go. And this part in particular was frustrating because there were different reports of when it was on and off, on and off, on and off. And here I am just trying to find out, did they ever sell that home? Are they in the same home? So to my understanding, currently this second burglary is in the same home, and it is when they had their home for sale. So it's a pattern. Same home, having their home for sale. So anyway, um, let me keep going. Hey, hey, hey. All right. So right now, what we are going to do is I'm going to give you a summary of doubt. All right, I feel like it's only fair before we start that I give you guys just some bullet points on why I had doubt. And not only me, many others had doubt as well. Um, and I gotta give a shout out to my homegirl, the one and only Pia Talks, because as we were doing some of our reviews, this subject came up. And it's funny because usually I'm the one that's more lenient towards believing a person and giving them a chance and all this kind of stuff. But in this case about Dorit's invasion, we were opposite. I was more on the sus side of it. I thought it was very suspect, and she believed it. And so I just thought that was funny. So shouts out to her. She's the only person that I've talked to so far that believed it, but which is even more of a reason why I was drawn to do this session. Now, some of the things that made me feel like this was a setup, okay, by Todd to come at us with the bulls. I wonder how that auntie doing. Wasn't that Aunt Bertha? She used to always say, "This too much." And that's exactly how I feel. This too much. Okay. So, when we talk about setup, I believe that it could have been set up, like I just said, by either Dorit or PK, but I really didn't feel like it was coming from Dorit, more like PK or whatever, to give her a storyline. Or some people who work at the home, or home in or around some of the brown people, as Dorit said, that brown people work for her and her children just love the people who work for her, the brown people. Girl, anyway, or gentlemen, all right, whoever's listening. And then also, honestly, I thought maybe even by Bravo, producers, production, editors, okay, editors. Because reading this book, I found out that each individual wife has their own producer. So, like their own assigned person, one on one, who quote unquote produces them. And if that person didn't want to lose their job, how we know that they didn't say, okay, look, fellas, you know, go to their nearest alley and grab some fellas, give them a couple of bucks and tell them what to do, and um, because some of the things that are peculiar is she has a whole security system, and then there's security cameras everywhere. No one caught a vehicle. And this is all right now. Maybe it'll come out later. Who knows? Because, of course, it's still under investigation because they've caught nobody. And those people were there for a long time. Way long enough, because I watched the video that's available online, and I know how my security system works. And let me tell you something. Well, right now I just have them just call the police. Just call the police, okay? If the perimeter, the barrier is broken, just call the police and don't even play. But when I first got it, I programmed it, I think for 30 seconds or a minute, and to where the alarm will go off, and then the person will come on and say, "Hey, what's up? You all right?" That ain't how they say it, but you know what I'm saying. And you'd have to give them a code. Well, anyway, when it first happened, I could not remember for the life of me the code. And so the dude just straight up said, and actually this happened more than once, I'm embarrassed to say, to where I really couldn't remember the code. And needless to say, he said, well, man, because I said, well, can't I just give you some personal information? My shoe size or something, my bra size, what you need. Anyway, he was like, no, it doesn't work like that. And I'll be sending the police out. You only got, 5 seconds, ma'am. And I was just like, okay, well, just do what you got to do because I can't remember. And then all of a sudden I did. I was like, oh, hold up. So anyway, I've eliminated that part of it. Just if my perimeter is broken, um, call the police, send them out here, and they do come quick. Okay. And they don't play. Now, of course, you do get charged for false alarms. But needless to say, I am baffled as to how her perimeter was broken. They were at, it appears to be the front entrance where it's all that glass and stuff, and looks like he had something, pointy or whatever, and broke it. As soon as he tapped it, it shattered, and they were in there for quite a long time. And in my opinion, long being that robbers, unless this is just on TV, I thought they were supposed to be quick, in and out, in and out. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, they were in there for a long time, long enough for the police to get there. So it was really weird. The police didn't get there. As far as I know, she called them, which of course she should. But I want to know, there's no word yet on if the security system alerted them. Okay? It just don't make no sense to me. Um, so, and then plus you would think that since they were already robbed when they had open house, that they would beef up increase the security around the house. It's just weird. And I didn't even know that PK like goes away like that far. He's in London. He all the way in London. It ain't like he traveled, you know, um I don't know, to Vegas or something like that. You know what I'm saying? This man is in London, leaving his children and wife, and they've already been robbed. I mean, because that's when I turned up my security. Someone did invade before I had security, and I'm like, oh, I got something for that ass. I got a whole bunch of stuff for that ass. Now, I got artillery hitting all around. For no matter where I'm at, I'm gonna turn into James Bond and roll over and grab my artillery. I hope I'm saying it right. Anyway, um, so it just seems to me something was just off about that. Because, Dorit wants she speaks four languages. Okay, so she wants us to understand. She is a smart cookie. So what's up with that? What's up with the not smart actions of not securing yourself more? And also it was kind of weird. Like I said, the timing of it, her husband's out of town. So the thing is, was somebody watching them? Does someone know? Which is why I was thinking it's an inside job. All right. But Dorit's the only witness. Her children were reported to be completely unaware. So therefore, with Dorit being the only witness, her story is the story. What she say happens is what happens. So there's no other being able to, not even her kids can't say what time they heard a loud noise. You know what I'm saying? So there will be no kind of poking at her story, really, besides what's on the camera, because they had cameras outside. And also, now I'm just going to throw this in there because this does happen sometimes. Sometimes on camera, um, celebrities do want it known like, oh, I don't have this no more. I don't have this no more. I don't have this no more. So that when they report to their insurance company to pay them out, that's video proof that, hey, somebody broke into my home and I don't have this now. Give me millions of dollars, please. And the 911 call has not been released yet. Okay, so I kind of was trying to hold back and reserve my opinion until I got all the facts. Okay. It used to be an old time detective that would say just the facts, ma'am. Anyway, and 10:50 p.m. is reportedly when the home was robbed, and that's, if you think about it, that's kind of early because 10:50, that doesn't mean anybody's sleep. How would you know everybody is asleep at 10:50? It's kind of weird. You know, that's weird. How would you know? I don't know. That's just weird to me. It's just suspect. I would like to explain to you all that this came to me in two parts, and one is in the moment. Okay. So, Spirit explained that, I'm doing my same spread, which is the five cards. I'll break them down as I come to each position. And of course, you're getting that bonus card, which is the energy. All right. And this is in the moment because I asked for in the moment. However, Spirit let me know to pull out my what? my ultimate clarifiers deck that I designed myself and keep going with it. So when we get there, I'll explain. So there's a lot of information that I need to give. And so, yeah, this is in the moment. How did she feel? And the decisions, the short snap decisions that she had to make in the moment of the home invasion. All right. So, starting out, we have the past position. The past position is very important because this is what goes on in the person's mind, what they reflect on, that determines the decision that they make in the present moment. So this was reversed, and it is the chariot. This deck that I use is the Wild Unknown, and it's kind of plain. I decided to choose a variation, of course, of Rider Waite, the original, but as plain as I can get it. A variation as plain as I can get it. So it's the Wild Unknown. It's the Chariot, and it showed up in reverse. Okay, and this is funny because the horse has a medallion, a necklace, and it has a pentacle on it. This is the very first time I am noticing that because I looked at it and I'm like, what is that pentacle doing there? This is the chariot. This is not, a pentacle card. But anywho, it's there, and that's just confirmation that I chose the right deck because, as we know, Dorit always likes to show off her material items, her luxury items. She likes to show off her wealth. And here it is. I have never seen a chariot major arcana card with a pentacle as a medallion around anyone's neck or a pentacle there in the chariot photo, you know. In and of itself, this is a surprise. So, in the face of a challenge, she lacks self confidence. And that's not anything shocking. You know, they said that a gun was held up to her head, and she said that she overheard a man saying, just shoot her, just kill her, just get rid of her, something like that. So, of course, you're going to, and I don't even know if that's the right word, self confidence, but for lack of better words, you will lack self confidence in facing that type of challenge. You know, weapon in your face, and I'm choosing my words carefully, you guys, because I don't want the YouTube police after me. Now, when the chariot is coupled with its partner, it takes on a totally different meaning, one of deep connection and reward. So there will be more on that later, okay? So for right now, I'm gonna leave you with that. She was lacking self-confidence. Let's continue. In the present position, it is the Six of Cups in reverse. Okay, she had a fair share of reverse and upright, reverse and upright. Okay, nothing particularly stands out as it relates to upright and reverse. This one, however, in the present was reverse. It is Six of Cups. I always tell you guys the Six of Cups is nostalgia. And as you take a look at this uh, imagery, you can see the roots are emphasized. When it is in the present position, the Six of Cups is a card letting you know that you may be too trusting of an individual. Could this individual be Teddy's husband, Edwin? Okay, if he's the one that put in the security system and told her she was secure. She went to bed trusting that she and her children were safe. So, in this position and in reverse, it's saying that she felt like she falsely trusted someone or something. Okay? So either she falsely trusted a person, and I'm gonna throw this out there. Could it be PK? You know, that set this up and everything, and she feeling like I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so falsely trusting a person or falsely trusting a situation, as in her feeling like she was secure, protected, Fort Knox or whatever, and when you wake up with a weapon in your face, you do realize real quick that you weren't safe. You went to bed trusting that you would be safe, and the way you woke up let you know real quick what time it was. And in the best position, we have the Seven of Pentacles. Pentacles are the coin. The coin is what? The money, honey. Okay. So, Seven of Pentacles in the best position, and it's upright. It says you will better yourself. You may return to education, improve a skill, or strengthen an ability. For all we know, she could become some kind of ninja or something, okay? But something's going to improve. And she will be successful at it, and she will truly earn it. The rewards you are about to reap will be multiplied due to the deep connection this seven has with the major arcana seven, the chariot. When the two of these cards appear in the same reading, it is a very good sign. With focused energy, she will be able to take off, and her goal will be met beyond expectations. All right. So, this combined with the chariot, both those sevens are a magical combination that says whatever you are trying to achieve, you will go above and beyond that. All right. But just remember the chariot was in reverse, though. And I'll touch on that a little later. In the worst position. Surprise, surprise, more pentacles. Okay, pentacles. Pentacles, pentacles is the coin. The coin is the what? Money, honey. This is the five of pentacles. Now, you guys, my regular listeners, you already know what fives are: conflict, adversary, they're not good. And when you have five of pentacles, the coin, the money, that means it majorly points to, more often than not, financial trouble. So, no surprise that this is in the worst position of what she imagines when you're being robbed, burglarized. Expecting her material status to change dramatically soon. Having unrealistic expectations of recovery financially and otherwise. So, it's she's the worst of it in that moment. She's thinking that her financial situation is going to change dramatically. So, let's keep going because that I feel like that's self-explanatory. Here we are at what's to come. This card is the world. And I love it when the world is in what's to come because it's like you have the world in the palm of your hands. However, that is when it's upright. This was in reverse. Reversed. Her world will be turned upside down. She's going to be able to achieve her goal, but it won't give her the fulfillment that she's looking for. All right. This card says you may be taking your journey too far. Be grateful for where you're at, but know when to quit while you're ahead. Okay, so that's why it was in reverse. Just going too far, which relates back to the skills and everything that she's going to learn, and the education she's going to get. All of that's great. However, you can do too much. And the reversed world card in the position of what's to come is saying it's a warning, basically, because we all have free will and it can change at any time. When I do cards, what it is insight. It gives you insight to better make the decisions that you have to make in life. So, as of right now, what Spirit is saying is that she's going to do too much. And if she feels like her world is turned upside down now, if she doesn't handle this correctly, then it'll really be it'll show you what upside down world is. Let's continue. All right. And let me apologize right now. I feel my voice becoming raspy. And you guys, I did take two allergy pills, so I'm fighting the the drowsiness, but I was tired of sneezing and had everything running, runny eyes, runny nose. So pardon me as I fight through this. I will try to um, speak clearly. All right. So we are at the energy influence, and it is Daughter of Wands. With this deck, the royal family is referenced as daughter, son, mother, father, in place of page, knight, queen, king. Okay, so Daughter of Wands is equivalent to the page. And the page, as we know, they're the messengers of the kingdom, and they are generally young and immature. Okay, so either it usually references both or one or the other. So the Daughter of the Wands is a young feminine expression of fire energy. The wand is white with pink flowers, symbolizing her innocence and her and when it says innocence, I truly believe in this situation, it's referring to her feeling helpless in that situation. Because, of course, this is in the moment, you guys. And the vulnerability, that's the word, vulnerability, um, and not knowing exactly what to do, you know? Because they said, allegedly, it's been reported that one of the burglars said, just kill her, just go ahead and kill her, man. And she began to beg for her. I cannot imagine. So if this is really real, my heart goes out to her. And this showed up in reverse, which references her having a strong will but lacks the ability to learn from experience. And it emphasizes her tendency to recklessly seek that experience. Okay, so that sounds like a vicious cycle to me. The experiences that you do have, you don't seem to learn from them, but you're so determined that you're seeking the knowledge and the experience to have in order to achieve a certain. So, also, I wanted to note in my mind, this energy refers back to when it says that it's in reverse because she has the tendency to recklessly seek that experience. Okay, she has a strong will. It's reminding me of the card that said she would return to education and improve a skill or strengthen an ability, and her being destined to be a success. And that's when those two cards were coupled, the seven of the coins and the chariot, with the horse with the coin medallion around his neck. So, however, in this reading, the chariot was in reverse, most likely due to her trying to force things instead of allowing natural ebb and flow of the universe. Here we are at Teddi Mellencamp's husband. And what role, if any, did he play in the security that seemed to have failed when Dorit Kimsley's home was invaded? Okay. I feel like the security system failed her. When you are looking death in the face, some people have invaded your home. I feel like the security system failed somewhere. And it has been widely said that she used Teddi Mellencamp's husband, whose name is Edwin Arayo or Arayov or something like that. I know I'm murdering his last name. But anyway, so I'll just call him Edwin. Okay, we're gonna be on a first name basis right now, me and Edwin. Um, but anyway, it was reported that she used his security, but that was just in the blogs, and I looked everywhere high and low to try to get confirmation from like a solid source, and I couldn't. With Teddy being defensive, I feel like that's confirmation enough for me. Okay, because a few years back when Kyle was broken into, someone was saying, oh, she used Edwin's security company, and Teddy immediately came out and clarified it and said no. She said she's using his security. She went through his security company now, but when she was broken into, she did not use Edwin's security company. She came out really quick. She's very mama bearish, very protective. Okay. Um, and I believe she has her hand in his business pot somewhere. I read that somewhere. I read so much, you guys. And then also in return, I read that he is co-owner. He has his hand in her all in quote unquote business too. But anyway, we're not gonna go deep down there. I'll just keep all that information to myself. Here is what I did want to say before I break it all the way down with his possible alleged role, what it looks like. Edwin is the founder of Skyline Security Management, Inc. He is recognized throughout the security industry as a pioneer when it comes to building teams, bringing industry partners together, and an expert in security, also smart home sales distribution. Today, his company is the largest nationwide distributor of Brinks Home Security. Basically, he's like a broker. Okay, so Brinks is one of he performing as a broker, for example, he uses different security companies. He's not the actual security company. So just like I know that car insurance, with car insurance you can go through insurance brokers, and you sit down and or do it over the phone or whatever. And I like to look people in their face eye to eye. So I go in the office, sit there, and tell them what my needs are, and they find the best package for me to cover all of my needs and at a reasonable price. Okay, but they are not actually the people I would call if I were to get in an accident. They're just the brokerage. They take my money. They take the money and everything, but they're the middleman. Okay, so that's what his security company is basically. So when the alarm goes off, his cell phone is not ringing. He's not the one that's gonna come over the intercom and say, "Is everything all right? What's your password?" It's not him. He's the middleman. He is the physical portion of it, so far as he has a team that goes out and sets it up, puts up the hardware in the home, and tell them, how to work it in, where it's at. That's all he does. Okay, so when shit goes down, he's not going to be the one that's called. He's not in it at all anymore after that. It's like, look, we set up these cameras and stuff and your hardware, and that's it. So it's really a double-edged sword, because I'm wondering, why didn't the police get there while they were still there? Like, why did it take so long? I don't understand. Because, you know, with my experience with security systems, home security systems, the alarm goes off. Even when you're inside of your home and you activate it, if a window is open, and they broke the window, they broke it. Breaking windows, window open, door open, any, you know, perimeter that's broken, the alarm is extremely loud and it goes off immediately. Okay, and like I said, it immediately sends a signal to law enforcement to come out and check it out. I've experienced that before. I just, was cooking, and something, got a little smoky and everything, and I just went to open up the kitchen window, and just, oh my goodness, just that shriek. So my point is, I don't understand what took them so long. Like, I'm thinking it had to be, and then for her to say her children slept through the whole thing, and she woke up to, a weapon in her face. And you guys, I'm stumbling with my words a little bit because I'm trying to be careful with the words I use. I don't want my video to be stricken and me be put in YouTube jail or whatever for saying certain words. So if you hear me stumbling around, it's because I'm trying to figure out the best language to articulate what it is I'm trying to get across to you guys. So forgive me on this, okay? Now, so basically that's my take on it, where I feel like that's where he's at fault because yeah, they're putting in the software and the electronics and the hardware and everything, but why was there no loud alarm? Why weren't the police notified immediately? Like, I don't get it. There's something missing, there's something wrong there. Okay? Something wrong. Drop down in the comments and let me know if you have experience possibly with home security systems and you can kind of figure out what you think. If you can connect the dots for me and all of the rest of the sages, I'd appreciate it. Okay? Because there's no reason, it doesn't make any sense that they weren't woken up. Anyway, moving right along, moving right along. So, Brinks is his major contract that he has. There are several other ones that he's signed with, but Brinks is the major one. All right. And I just took a couple of little snippets from Brinks' um, website just to show how it can be simplistic and get extremely complicated. The simplistic part of it is how right here in the middle it says that you can easily install this yourself. Okay. And then it says, or let us help you with professional installation. The professional installation would be Edwin, Teddy's husband. That's what they would do. And again, unless the person chooses to install it themselves, then they wouldn't need him. He'd be cut out. Um, and then there's personalization with system additions. I put that there to elaborate a little bit, because maybe that's where the Kimsleys failed at. Maybe Edwin gave them, advised them of, well, you need this and you need this, you need this. And maybe they went the cheap route and said, oh, we'll be fine with just this. You know what I'm saying? They do have a right to personalize their package. So I don't know who went wrong, but somewhere, somehow, somebody went wrong. Okay? When you got a weapon up in your face like that and somebody debating on whether or not to off you, something went wrong. Something failed. Your home security system failed. Okay? But anyway, then the last snippet I have is security solutions curated for all comfort levels. Again, double-edged swords because Edwin's company, they're the curators. They are the ones who are supposed to go out and effectively research your home and where your vulnerability is in the home and fix that. You know what I'm saying? Put cameras there, do this, do that, so that the whole entire home is protected and there is no vulnerability. That's the curation of it. That's where they're supposed to be experts at. But then it's to the comfort level. So maybe they were comfortable with less than what was professionally advised. Now, y'all know, I had to throw some of this in. Okay, I am definitely not getting ready to read all of this. You are welcome to pause it. As I always let you guys know, what you are looking at right now are the ratings, the reviews, and the complaints of Skyline Security, which is Teddi Mellencamp's husband, Edwin. It's his security company. There have been so many complaints. Now, I can honestly say that it's been more consistent with taking advantage of people. Many people have complained and said that, right here in the green one, the very top, it says age gullibility. That was my first time hearing those two words put together like that. But basically, there's been lots of complaints about them seeking vulnerable seniors and putting a contract in front of them, knowing that they don't understand it and forcing them to sign it, and then they take money out of their account every month and they can't get out of the contract. It's like they're stuck in it and they didn't understand exactly what they were signing. Okay. So that's the bulk of the complaints. So that really doesn't have anything to do with actual security. But overall, he's rated 2.5 stars, so it is what it is. It's so much stuff saying, do not go to them. I don't recommend them. Blah 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 blah. And it's just bad. It's horrible. And I'm gonna be honest. I, you know, even if that was my homegirl, my friend's husband's business, sweetie, I cannot. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Y'all gotta, I don't care because my safety would come before my friendship. So I'd be curious to know if she is with Skyline Security, if she will stay with them or be changing, okay? Because I feel like there is a change afoot. And ultimately, I'm going to wrap this first section up like this. I do feel like it was genuine because she was genuinely afraid. The previous cards that I read to you guys, her, learning a new skill and all of that kind of stuff along those lines, because that was referred to three different times. It is saying that she is definitely on the move of not only a physical move, but making sure that her and her family is safe. Like she is determined for this not to happen to her ever again. Because again, this is the second time. So with that determination that I saw in the cards, I feel like it was real. Okay. And yeah, I admitted that I am one of the people who kind of thought it was sus, but the cards say from what I can tell as a tarot reader, these emotions that she is feeling, they are leaning more towards this was a genuine home invasion. This is the point where I would like to ask you guys, and I know you can hear the smile on my face. Okay, here I come. Will you please like, subscribe, share, and ring my bell? Okay, ring my bell. Ring my bell so that you are notified every time I post a video. All right, go ahead and do that. But at least click like, please. Any engagement is good for my channel, all right? Drop down in the comments and give me suggestions. I am always open to suggestions, okay? On who you want read in what situation, why, when, who, where, how. And I'll do that. I do have other things coming soon in the works. I appreciate you guys' patience. I really, really do. And click like, subscribe, share, and let's continue. Okay, now for the second half of this video, I am asking the question of the right now on the decisions that she's making right now. Basically, the aftermath. After it happened, now what? How is she feeling? What is she doing? It's the same layout, the same positions. I'm using a different deck. I'm using my deck, the Ultimate Clarifiers deck. Okay? So let's sage this out. How is Miss Kimsley feeling right now? So here we are at the past card. And the past card is represented by the title, Everybody Have a Seat and Shut the F Up. So this card shows up when someone is getting an overwhelming amount of unwanted, unsolicited advice. And it's so much so to where it's driving them crazy and they want everybody to just have a seat and hush. It's Spirit is showing me like an image of a person that you're covering your ears, because like the excessive talking is hurting your head. Okay, it's extreme like that. So she's receiving, which that's understandable. She's receiving a lot of information and a lot of advice that she didn't ask for, and she doesn't want it. Continuing. In the present, we have Family on the Go with subtitle Time for a Family Vacation. Invite everyone. So, this card means that you want to go somewhere with your family, but you plan to exclude someone. Or you want your family to move out of town, but you want to exclude someone. So, ultimately, I believe she wants to move and she wants to exclude someone. So, here's the thing about it is the challenge is trying to find out who does she want to exclude. Okay, the card in the best position, it speaks about and refers to her family and friends and the need to elevate those relationships right now. Okay, so the best of it for her is, and you know what, it's like a spiritual awakening that she's having. And the best of it is saying now is the time to forget about whatever the reason your relationships were stagnant. Instead, focus on the fact that now is the time to elevate your bond with your family and friends. So, this is what I mean by having a spiritual, enlightenment and everything. She's realizing that life is precious and life is short, and any silly, misunderstandings, or for whatever reason, maybe she went for an extended period of time not speaking to someone. The best to come out of this is the way she sees it is her wanting to squash all of that, squash all the beef, okay? And that's beautiful and expected, and actually I'm saying expected, but I thought she was shallow. I really seen her as a materialistic, shallow airhead a little bit. Just, I don't know why I said it like that. I just feel like a little, I was just look. All I can do is go by what they show us when they walk across our screen. Okay. But after doing this reading and everything, she seems to have more um, context to her than I thought she did. So, anyway, so she's wanting to squash all beef, and that's what she sees as the best out of this. And let's continue. All right, the worst. What was in the worst position is a card that says you meet in heaven. So, in general, this card comes up when someone has passed away, and it doesn't even have to be recent. It could be, 2, 3, maybe even 10 years ago, but a person misses them so much to where it feels like it was yesterday. Okay. In general, that's the context of this card. We are out of that context, which is why I love using my own cards, because I understand all of the various, you know, ways that one card can mean 10 different things and be correct in all of those meanings. So this one, it let me know right away that Dorit believes in guardian angels and she called for help. Okay, because I know I would be too. I know I would be too. So whoever her, she called on her guardian angels. Um, Whomever may have passed on, she feels like they're watching over her, and in her moment of fear, doubt, and insecurity, she was calling on her spiritual guides, whomever that may be. Okay, with this card being reversed, it says Doree is not ready to meet them in heaven. Okay. She knows she will one day, but she was like, not today, Lord. Furthermore, she feels the worst would be if she couldn't keep life-threatening encounters far away from herself and family. Her highest priority is to protect her family, as it should be. Okay. Moving right along. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. You remember earlier when I said she wants to go on vacation, she wants to move, and she definitely wants to exclude someone. And I was poking around with the idea of who it could be, and I threw out there that it may be her husband. Well, it's partly because of this card, okay? The what's to come. Walking away fabulously. This card means this departure was a long time coming. Someone left a situation in a grand way that will not be forgotten anytime soon, if ever. This is a person who has given their all and got zero in return. This person is fed up with the lack of respect. This person is fed up with being taken for granted. This person was pushed into loving themselves due to feeling none or feeling alone. Spirit is telling me feeling alone. This person walked away effortlessly without looking back because after all they've gone through, they know they deserve better. This person has no regrets. This person may have done the back and forth before, and someone is counting on this behavioral pattern to continue. But they mean business this time, which is why they are walking away feeling just fabulous. That pattern is broken. Don't count this person's don't count on this person's return. Do not count on this person's return. Go ahead and free yourself because they did. When this card shows up, it means that someone needs to move on and start new, and that is the person who was left. Okay, so this card usually 90% of the time refers to an intimate, romantic type of relationship. Okay, but it could very well be a business relationship. It could be a friendship. It can be all of those things. I asked for clarification. It pointed to PK. All right. Sorry about the long pause, y'all. I was like shocked because I was thinking I hadn't seen you guys have trouble. That's her bub, her babe, her bub. Um, but yeah, he's getting on her nerves or something. And the thing about it is, when you think about it, when you really, really think about it, I don't know, and y'all probably don't either, unless y'all her best friend or something. But we don't know how many times she's left alone with just the kids. And she may have trusted Bub to take care of the security and safety of their home. And not only was he not there, but she wasn't safe. And that, not to say that you divorce somebody because of that. That's not what I'm saying. So, I know my sages, you guys are smarter than that. You know that that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that if you have any brewing underlying issues with your relationship and then this happens, you almost lose your life. And it could be by the mistake of that person who you already got underlying issues with. That just might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. It just might be. It just might be. Okay. Now, what I'm going to say about the clarifiers is between this card and the energy she had, which is coming right up, I had to clarify and then clarify some more and then clarify some more and more and more. So, guess what, you guys? There will be a part two. All right. Let's continue. Her energy influence, which is what influenced all of the previous um, cards, the way she was thinking and everything. As I say often, it's like a tree. The energy influence is the root, from where everything comes from, the trunk, the branches, the fruit, the flowers, the leaves, all of that. So we're looking at the root right now, the base. Blinging in the name of Jesus. Okay, again, blinging in the name of Jesus. All right. So what that means, it can either be literal or not. All right. In this case, it's not literal. Like She's not blinging in the name of Jesus. However, I do see that she has connected more with her spiritual side, okay, and her higher power. The blinging, we all know what the blinging is. That's the, materialistic side of a person. Flashy, okay? Flousing. Um, those are the slang words I know. All right. Blinging in the name of Jesus refers to someone who may be misrepresenting themselves. Someone in the situation could be using funds in a way that others may not feel is appropriate. Most importantly, it could point to the fact that someone believes funds are being misappropriated and they are exuding accusatory energy. All right. So, in this case, you look to the surrounding cards for more clarification, or you simply clarify. Okay. And lastly, a person may simply be too flashy or materialistic for someone's taste. Okay. Y'all see this connection, honey? Um, I feel like she's bothered, she's upset about I don't know who's, because the thing about it is, I'm like, Dorit, girl, you flashy. How you feeling like somebody is too flashy? You flashy. Did you look in the mirror? Girl, you must have looked in the mirror. And maybe she did. And maybe she's gonna dial back. Because when you almost lose your life, let me tell you something. It's a lot of introspection and self reflection. That ain't funny, but I'm speaking from experience. But and if you go to my website, I write about it. I had a horrible, horrible major accident anyway, and I include the pictures and everything, and that is at unapologeticallysage.com. But you do a lot of introspection and self-reflection, so maybe she is talking about herself. However, I did do clarifiers for this card as well, and I'm going to save that information. I'm going to spare you guys on this first round. So here's the thing, as I just said, the last two positions, which were what's to come, that needed clarification deep, and the energy influence needed deep clarification as well. So this chick has pushed me into creating a part two. I've discovered what appears to be a darker side, and that is what deserves a deep dive. Okay? There appears to be a darker side. Even though it seems like she's um, gotten more close to her spiritual side, and the spiritual side is not the dark side, but when you go closer to the light, it's inevitable to leave the darkness. Okay. With that being said, before she leave all the way, we're gonna peek at it. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna just take a peek at that dark side that she's leaving. Glad she's leaving the dark side and going a little closer to the light side. But which again, almost losing your life can make you do that. Um, People, they usually, real good and nice and stuff for at least a good 2 months. For me, it was, I was before that and still am. With some people it sticks. So hopefully this will stick. Okay, I said that to say this. Hopefully with Dorit it'll stick. You know, um, but these, just to give you a little preview, these clarifiers brought out. They pointed out an immoral lifestyle that she will attempt to cleanse, and it points to her shadow self needing work. Okay, and it took this reading in a different direction. And so I'm forced to do a deep dive. It was unintended, but there will be a part two. And guess what? In that part two, I'm bringing out the shadow cards because her clarifiers pointed directly to her shadow self. what better way to explore that than with my shadow deck? Now that's the deck that's a little dark where I'll be putting that little parental, not a parental, but an explicit advisory on it because the photography is out of this world. Okay, gorgeous and very detailed and vivid. But it, with that being said, it some of those images are not. They might give you nightmares. Okay. Um, and so I picked a few for Dorit to give us to paint the entire picture of what is she running from, what is the dark side, what's going on, what has she discovered, who is she talking about wanting to leave. Okay, who is she wanting to leave? That will be revealed in part two. Who is she trying to exclude, girl? Talking about moving, believing somebody. Who you leaving? You ain't leaving your kids, honey. Okay, and I'm wondering how that friendship is with her and Miss Teddi. Because Teddi blamed, and I meant to say this earlier, so sorry about this. Teddi blamed Dana Wilkie for tweeting or posting some mess about, look who has their house for sale again. And this was when they being the Kimsleys, Dorit and her husband, put it up this most recent time after they had taken it off from being robbed before. So Teddi called herself cussing Dana, saying that you are directly the reason why um, Dorit was robbed. You are the reason. To which Dana replied and said, I did not post her. First, I saw different replies. She said she didn't post her address. Then she said she didn't post any information that was not um, public in the public records. It wasn't anything that she posted that we couldn't, as just normal citizens, could look up ourselves. Either way, her and Teddi were going back and forth, and Teddi, I don't know. It was said that she had gotten that ass. I don't know. I don't know. But for Teddi to be so upset, that's when I was like, oh, okay, this must be your, because I don't feel like she going up on a Tuesday for Dorit like that. Please, they ain't friends like that. Shoot, last I checked, the last season Teddi was on, they was upset with each other. Dorit did not like Teddi. So anyway, I was thinking, okay, this is her husband's little security. It does have a reflection on him. But anyway, I said all that already. So we are about to close this out, but I have one more thing. Yes, yes, yes. You know it, Sagies. I've always got to thank you for your support. It means so much to me. Please remember to click like, subscribe, share, be safe, wash your hands, all of that. But I want to leave you on this note. This is a Chinese proverb, and I read it and I fell in love with it. A country where flowers are priced so as to make them a luxury has yet to learn the first principles of civilization. I'm going to say it one more time because I like it just that much. A country where flowers are priced so as to make them a luxury has yet to learn the first principles of civilization. Flowers should be free, y'all. Okay? Flowers have, it's been proven that flowers fight depression and anxiety, and they illuminate calmness and happiness within us. Okay? Our chemicals in our brain react to flowers. So they should be free. Alrighty then. You guys, on that note, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend, okay? And this part two will be coming out real soon. And also, I have not forgotten about the tarot pieces of the Housewife book, okay? I just have to prioritize some things, but that is coming up as well. And along with what I have been doing lately with my homegirl Pia Talks, we gonna review it up. I have been catching up on season one of Real Housewives of Salt Lake to the what city? They crazy. They are crazy. They are crazy. They are a big cup of crazy. Just a big cup of crazy. Um, I know all the housewives is crazy, but they a different kind of crazy. I don't know if it's the snow, the snow boots. I don't know. I don't know if it's cold weather. I don't know. They crazy. They're just a different. Anyway, I'll save all of that for when Indigo joins Pia Talks, and we will talk. Until then, bye.